First, I'm going to start with brows, and I'm using the color Corkable. I'm using a fine brush, and I'm drawing on the hairs in the natural hairline. There I am doing the other side. Then I'm using waterproof concealer in a tone lighter than my skin as primer, and I'm blending it in with a blendable sponge. Then I'm using a Corkable as a transition color. Doing both eyes. And making sure I blend it in very well. And that light colored concealer makes my color look brighter. Next, I'm using a primer to wet my brush. And I'm using Coral of the Story, which is a mauvish pinkish color. And it's great fall color. First I'm going to apply it wet, and then I'm going to blend it dry. I'm using a clean brush, and it blends it very well into my transition color. And I'm also using a Corkable with primer as eyeliner. Next, I'm tapping brownie points right on the outside of my eye and just tapping it on lightly, and it gives it a smoked out look. And then I'm blending it again with a dry brush. Now I'm concealing all my problem areas and red spots as well. Now time for foundation. With a foundation brush, I'm just putting the foundation all over my skin. A lot of people do this differently, but this is one way that I do it. And after I apply it all over my skin, just for the coverage I want, and this makeup gives just crazy coverage, it's 50% pigmented, I'm going to tap it with a blenderful sponge, and that sponge is damp. And I'm just blending it evenly all over my face. Crazy, crazy coverage. I'm taking clear translucent powder and I'm setting it to my face. Next, I'm going to highlight, and I'm using the same concealer that I used as my eye primer. And it's a shade lighter than my normal skin tone. And a lot of people highlight and contour differently, but that's me putting on my highlight, and I'm applying it with a damp blenderful sponge once again. And I'm just blending it all in very well. Now I'm doing what they call baking with our translucent powder. I'm just being obnoxious with it all in my highlight areas. It's going to set it as well as highlight. While that's sitting there, I'm going to do my deep contour, and I use our darkest concealer for that. And everybody contours differently, and some people don't at all, but this is what I do for mine. Some of these steps you can omit. Once again, I'm using my damp blenderful sponge. And I'm even using some of my fingers to make sure the highlight blends in perfectly. Now I'm brushing off the highlight that I baked with. And it's got my highlight set in perfectly. Now time for blush. And then I use blush number 6 that we have also for a glowy highlight. Now I'm applying our Perfect Mascara. It's got the fibers in the tube, so it's one step. I like to use several coats. I contour that blush all together with the glowy highlight. It gives a sharp contour and a beautiful bright highlight. Next, I'm applying Enduring Lip Color in Wedding Cake. And to give it a nice fall look, I'm going to apply